What if I told you that at this very moment there exists within you a force so powerful, so transformative, that it has the ability to completely reshape every aspect of your existence? What if the very thing you're doing right now, focusing your attention on these words, is the same mechanism that either creates your greatest triumphs or your deepest struggles? What if the ancient sages were right when they declared that where attention goes, energy flows, and where energy flows, life grows? You see, there is a hidden force operating in your life every single moment, a force that Joseph Murphy understood so profoundly that he dedicated his life to teaching others how to harness its incredible power. This force is your attention itself, and the way you direct it determines nothing less than the entire trajectory of your human experience. Right now, as you absorb these words, your attention is creating neural pathways, influencing your subconscious mind, and literally rewiring your brain to either support or sabotage your deepest desires. The mystics of old knew this secret. The great spiritual teachers understood this principle, and now modern neuroscience is proving what the wise ones have always known, that attention is not just something you have, it is something you are. Your attention is the very essence of your creative power, the fundamental force through which your subconscious mind receives its instructions and begins the magnificent work of manifestation. When you truly comprehend this truth, when you recognize that every moment of focused attention is a moment of active creation, your entire relationship with life transforms from passive observation to conscious participation in the grand design of your destiny. The law of attention operates with the same unwavering precision as the law of gravity. Yet most people remain completely unaware of its constant influence in their lives. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious mind is like a fertile garden, and your attention is the gardener who decides which seeds to plant and which to nurture into full bloom. Every thought you dwell upon, every image you hold in your mind's eye, every emotion you allow to persist is a seed planted through the focused beam of your attention. The subconscious mind makes no distinction between what you want and what you fear. It simply accepts whatever receives the most concentrated attention and begins the process of making it manifest in your physical reality. This is why the ancient wisdom traditions spoke of guarding your thoughts as you would guard precious treasure, because they understood that thoughts sustained by attention become the very substance of your experience. When you repeatedly focus your attention on lack, limitation, and fear, you are essentially programming your subconscious mind to create more circumstances that match these mental patterns. Conversely, when you consciously direct your attention toward abundance, possibility, and love, you activate the creative forces within you to manifest experiences that align with these elevated states of consciousness. The subconscious mind is completely neutral. It is a perfect servant that faithfully reproduces whatever you consistently feed it through your focused attention. This law operates whether you believe in it or not, whether you understand it or not, and whether you use it consciously or unconsciously. The only variable is whether you choose to work with this law deliberately or allow it to work automatically based on whatever randomly captures your attention throughout the day. Consider the profound implications of this truth. Every single experience in your life, from the relationships you attract to the opportunities that come your way, from your health and vitality to your financial circumstances, has been influenced by the cumulative effect of where you have placed your attention over time. This is not mystical speculation but practical metaphysics, proven by decades of psychological research and validated by the testimonies of countless individuals who have learned to consciously direct their attention toward their desired outcomes. Your attention is like a laser beam that cuts through the infinite field of possibility and selects which potential realities will become actual experiences in your life. When you understand that attention is selection, you begin to realize that you are not a victim of circumstances, but rather the architect of your experiences, constantly choosing which aspects of infinite possibility you will bring into manifestation through the power of focused awareness. The ancient Hermetic principle, as above, so below, takes on new meaning when you recognize that the patterns you create in consciousness through sustained attention are reflected and reproduced in the physical world of form and experience. Your outer world is simply a mirror reflecting back to you the dominant patterns that have received the most attention in your inner world of thought and feeling. This is why positive thinking alone is insufficient. It is not the content of your thoughts but the intensity and consistency of your attention that determines the creative power flowing through your consciousness. When you give scattered, unfocused attention to your desires while simultaneously giving intense, concentrated attention to your fears and limitations, The law of attention will faithfully reproduce more of what receives the greater focus. The key to transformation lies not in trying to control every thought, but in learning to direct your attention with the same precision and intentionality that a master craftsman applies to their work. The great spiritual teacher Neville Goddard, whose teachings resonated deeply with Joseph Murphy's understanding, often spoke of imagination as the workshop of creation, but it is attention that provides the energy and focus necessary to transform imaginative concepts into lived reality. When you learn to stabilize your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled, when you can maintain your focus on the internal reality of having what you desire rather than the external appearance of lacking it, you activate what Murphy called the subconscious machinery that begins working tirelessly to rearrange circumstances in your favor. This is not wishful thinking, but practical application of a universal law that governs the relationship between consciousness and experience. Your attention is the bridge between the invisible realm of infinite possibility and the visible realm of manifested form. And every moment you spend consciously directing this attention toward your highest vision is a moment invested in the creation of your ideal life. The reason most people struggle to manifest their desires is not because the law doesn't work, but because they unknowingly violate the law by giving their most intense attention to what they don't want while giving only casual, inconsistent attention to what they do want. It's as if they plant seeds of weeds with great care and attention while carelessly tossing seeds of flowers into the garden, and then wondering why their garden produces more weeds than flowers. The law of attention responds to the energy and emotion behind your focus, not to your stated preferences or conscious wishes. This is why mere affirmations without feeling often fail to produce results. They lack the emotional intensity that captures and holds the subconscious mind's attention. When you combine clear mental images with intense feeling and sustained attention, you create what Murphy called the perfect conditions for subconscious acceptance. And it is this acceptance that triggers the manifestation process. The practice of conscious attention requires what the ancient text referred to as watching, maintaining a vigilant awareness of where your mental energy is flowing throughout the day and gently but firmly redirecting it whenever it wanders into unproductive territories. This watching is not a tense, controlling effort, but rather a relaxed, persistent awareness that recognizes attention as the most valuable resource you possess. Just as you wouldn't carelessly throw away your money, learning to consciously direct your attention means refusing to waste this precious creative force on worry, gossip, complaint, or any mental activity that moves you away from your desired outcomes. Joseph Murphy emphasized that the subconscious mind is most receptive to new programming during states of relaxation, which is why practices like meditation, prayer, and visualization are so effective. They allow you to gather your scattered attention into a focused beam that can penetrate the deepest levels of consciousness. In these states of concentrated attention, you are not trying to force or manipulate anything external. Instead, you are aligning your inner world so completely with your desired reality that the outer world has no choice but to conform to this new internal pattern. The subconscious mind, being part of the universal creative intelligence, has access to ways and means that the conscious mind could never devise, and it will orchestrate the perfect sequence of events, meetings, and opportunities necessary to manifest what you have impressed upon it through sustained, focused attention. This is why Murphy taught that you should never worry about how your desires will be fulfilled. Your job is simply to maintain clear, consistent attention on the end result while allowing infinite intelligence to handle all the details of manifestation. The how is none of your business. Your business is maintaining unwavering attention on the what and the why, feeling as though your desired outcome has already been achieved. The transformation of attention from its usual scattered, reactive patterns to focused, intentional direction is perhaps the most important skill you can develop for creating positive change in your life. Most people allow their attention to be pulled in countless directions by external events, other people's opinions, social media, news broadcasts, and the endless chatter of an undisciplined mind, never realizing that each shift in attention is a vote cast for or against their dreams and aspirations. Every time you choose to focus on what you want rather than what you fear, every time you give your attention to solutions rather than problems, every time you concentrate on possibilities rather than limitations, you are exercising your creative power and programming your subconscious mind for success. The beauty of this principle is that it requires no special talents, educational background, or external resource. It only requires the willingness to take conscious control of something you've always possessed, your attention. Joseph Murphy often reminded his students that the subconscious mind never sleeps, never rests, and is constantly working to manifest whatever receives the most concentrated attention, which means that every moment presents a fresh opportunity to redirect your creative energy toward your highest good. The compound effect of consistently directed attention is truly miraculous. Small daily investments of focus awareness accumulate over time into massive transformations that seem impossible from your current vantage point. Just as water flowing consistently in one direction can carve the Grand Canyon, attention flowing consistently toward your desired outcome can carve new channels of possibility in your life that allow abundance, health, love, and success to flow naturally toward you. The key is understanding that transformation happens not through dramatic, sporadic efforts, but through gentle, persistent redirection of attention toward the thoughts, images, and feelings that align with your highest vision for your life. The ancient practice of contemplation, which forms the foundation of all genuine spiritual development, is essentially the art of sustained attention, applied to elevated ideas and ideals until they become living reality in your consciousness and subsequently in your experience. When you contemplate abundance until you feel abundant, when you contemplate perfect health until you feel vital and strong, when you contemplate loving relationships until you feel loved and loving, you are using the power of attention to literally reshape your internal reality, which inevitably reshapes your external circumstances to match this new internal pattern. This is not self-deception but self-creation through the conscious use of universal law, and it is available to anyone willing to invest the time and energy necessary to master their own attention. The reason this practice seems difficult at first is that most people have spent years, perhaps decades, allowing their attention to wander wherever impulse and circumstance directed it, creating deeply ingrained habits of scattered, unfocused thinking that must be gently but persistently retrained. Joseph Murphy compared this process to developing physical strength through exercise. At first it requires conscious effort and may feel unnatural, but with consistent practice it becomes as automatic as breathing and infinitely more powerful than the old patterns of random, reactive attention. The subconscious mind is incredibly patient and persistent in its work, but it requires clear, consistent instructions delivered through focused attention before it can begin the magnificent task of reshaping your external world to match your internal vision. Every great achievement in human history began as a sustained focus of attention in someone's consciousness, and every personal transformation follows this same pattern of inner change preceding outer change. When you truly understand that your attention is your creative power, you realize that you are never powerless, never without options, and never at the mercy of external circumstances. You always have the ability to redirect your attention and thereby redirect your life toward greater fulfillment and success. The quality of your attention determines not only what you attract into your life, but also how you experience whatever you attract, which means that learning to direct your attention skillfully can transform your present circumstances even before new circumstances manifest. When you give focused, appreciative attention to the good that already exists in your life, you amplify and expand that good through what Joseph Murphy called the law of mental equivalence, like attracts, like in the realm of consciousness. And what you appreciate appreciates in your experience. This principle explains why gratitude is such a powerful transformative practice. It directs your attention toward what you want more of while generating the positive emotional energy that accelerates the manifestation process. Conversely, when you habitually focus attention on what's wrong, missing, or inadequate in your current situation, you strengthen and perpetuate these unwanted conditions while simultaneously blocking the flow of new possibilities into your life. The subconscious mind interprets sustained attention as a request for more of whatever you're focusing on, regardless of whether you consciously want more of it or not, which is why complaining, worrying, and dwelling on problems tends to create more problems rather than solutions. The shift from problem-focused to solution-focused attention is one of the most practically powerful changes you can make in your mental habits, instantly opening channels for creative inspiration, helpful resources, and beneficial opportunities to flow into your awareness. This doesn't mean ignoring or denying problems when they arise, but rather giving them only the attention necessary to understand and address them while investing the majority of your mental energy in envisioning and feeling the desired solutions. When you consistently direct your attention toward the outcomes you want while maintaining faith that infinite intelligence is working through your subconscious mind to manifest these outcomes, you create what Murphy called the golden key that unlocks the door to seemingly miraculous transformations in every area of your life. The practice of attention training is simultaneously the simplest and most profound spiritual discipline, requiring nothing more than moment-by-moment awareness of where your mental energy is flowing and gentle redirection whenever it moves away from your chosen focus. Yet within this simple practice lies the key to unlocking what the scriptures call the kingdom of heaven within, that state of consciousness where you feel connected to infinite possibility, unlimited love, and boundless creative power. Joseph Murphy taught that this inner kingdom is not a place you go to, but a state of consciousness you cultivate through the disciplined use of attention, and every moment you spend focused on thoughts and feelings that elevate and inspire you is a moment spent in this sacred inner realm where all transformation begins. The beautiful paradox of attention work is that as you become more skilled at directing your focus toward higher thoughts and feelings, this skill becomes increasingly effortless and automatic, eventually becoming a natural expression of your evolved consciousness rather than something you have to work to maintain. This is the difference between willpower and what the mystics call divine power. Willpower is the ego's attempt to control through force and strain, while divine power is the soul's natural magnetism expressing itself through aligned attention and feeling. When your attention flows naturally toward thoughts of love, abundance, health, and success, you know you have successfully reprogrammed your subconscious mind and established new default patterns that will continue creating positive results even when you're not consciously thinking about them. This automated success consciousness is the ultimate goal of all attention training, to reach the point where positive focus becomes as natural and effortless as your heartbeat, continuously generating beneficial experiences without requiring conscious effort or vigilance. The subconscious mind that has been trained through consistent attention work becomes like a perfectly tuned instrument that automatically produces harmony, results in every area of life, responding instantly to the slightest conscious intention with the full power of infinite intelligence working through it. As you embark upon this journey of conscious attention direction, remember that every master was once a beginner, and every expert was once completely amateur at controlling their own thoughts and feelings. Joseph Murphy himself spent years learning to master his attention, often catching his mind wandering into negative territories and gently guiding it back to constructive thinking hundreds of times per day until this redirection became automatic and effortless. The key to success in this practice is not perfection, but persistence, not the ability to maintain perfect focus from the beginning, but the willingness to keep returning to your chosen focus each time you notice your attention has wandered. Each time you catch your mind dwelling on limitation and consciously shift your attention to possibility, you strengthen what could be called your attention muscle, while simultaneously weakening the old patterns of scattered, reactive thinking that have been creating unwanted experiences in your life. This process is entirely natural and requires no struggle or strain. It's simply a matter of making new choices about where you place your attention moment by moment throughout your day. The compound effect of these small choices is absolutely extraordinary, creating momentum toward your desired outcomes that become stronger and more powerful with each passing day until manifestation becomes inevitable. Your subconscious mind will begin showing you evidence of this positive momentum through improved circumstances, unexpected opportunities, helpful synchronicities, and an overall sense that life is flowing more smoothly in your favor. These early signs of progress are like green shoots emerging from planted seeds, indicating that your attention work is taking root in your subconscious mind and beginning to produce tangible results in your external experience. Trust this process completely, for it is based on immutable universal laws that have never failed anyone who has applied them with consistency and faith, and know that as you continue to direct your attention toward your highest vision, the infinite creative power within you is orchestrating the perfect sequence of events necessary to transform this vision into your lived reality.